What up? The storm. What is the storm? That's a good question. I know what the storm is. The storm is the beginning of the Great Awakening, which is the reality of our situation. But first, I'm gonna wait like maybe 5 minutes in order to send this out to my followers before I start talking about this stuff, because it's very important this information reach people to prepare them. And it's not good. It's not good. There's a lot of people out there who are very confused, and I don't blame them. But, you know, I guess they just don't know what's going on. Hey. Well, I think the Nephilim were... I mean, what we're dealing with here are maybe half of the population are actually half Draco reptilian from Satan and Eve in the Garden of Eden producing Cain. That's why they follow the bloodline of the Canaanites, and why God rejected Cain. And because of that, there was a a war began between good and evil. And during Noah's time, the Canaanites were doing what they do, which is like, you know, what's going on today in today's world, where morality is disregarded as unnecessary, temptation and evil is so much easier, hatred is so much easier than being compassionate. And it's very obvious why this is all happening, you know, at least for me, by going through all the evidence. But it's not just these half reptilians, it's just, you know, human beings who've been misled this whole time, who've been drawn into this materialistic ideology and tempted to the point of there needing to be another Noah's Ark. Basically, that's what's going on. Well, there could be genetic modification through the COVID-19 jab, but I'm pretty sure it's more of a sterilization. Although there is the nanotechnology, but I don't see that being, you know, I don't think that that's what's going on. I think it's a sterilization for starters, but it's also, and I say it's not the nanotechnology because it doesn't make any sense. They want to bring about the artificial superintelligence to create artificial reality. And that way people get a chip in their brain or put on a halo like a hat, and they go into an artificial reality where they're induced with pleasure all the time, happiness, pleasure, pleasure, and no one wants to leave. And so what will happen is the human race will degenerate and stop trying, and that will basically end humanity. But to think that they were putting, I mean, maybe there might be genetic modifications, but I'm pretty sure it was more of a sterilization and possibly a dual binary weapon, which it's half of the virus, and then whenever they want, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 15, 30 years later, which it won't be that long, they will release the other half of the virus in the water. And when you drink it, it will activate in your body. The virus will be, fuse, and it will activate, and it's a dual binary viral bioweapon. Rockefeller. It's very difficult because unfortunate because I've gone through all the evidence. I know what's going on here. The elite, they all knew what was coming thousands of years ago. I mean, that's how these end times are like, oh, look, it's another Bible prophecy coming true. Well, how the fuck did they know all that shit? Time travel and temporal time viewing devices like the Looking Glass, Project Looking Glass, or crystal balls, or the Orion Cube, or the Corona Visor. These things warp space and time and allow you to view into the past and into the future. So they knew what was coming, and to say, "Oh, it's a prophecy," no, it was technology, actually. Yeah, just like Baba Vaga, the blind mystic, she had these translucent beings come to her and tell her information about the future, which is very interesting because I had the same experience when they came to me in 2017. And 11 days later, the Nazca alien mummies were released on Gaia TV, who I later realized that they were actually cherubs, like Cupid, God's angels. And the experience was very benevolent. They were peaceful, they were kind. They came to me while I was sitting meditation. And it was not scary. It was definitely, holy shit, you're real. When they left, I realized, oh my god, they're real. Which got me involved in the whole researching thing, and then 11 days later, the Nazca alien mummies were released. What's up, Navajo? So, I guess, this is very serious. So I'm going to play this video. Let me know in the comments if you can hear the sound, because I've been having technical difficulties with the sound.
There's a poignant moment in John Harrington's account to Brent Friedman of what he says he was told. He wept for his daughters because of what he was told about this secret. And I do caution people, there are ontological shocks, I'm told, in what we may be being about to be told. I'm sceptical that the government's got the moral courage to reveal the full extent of this secret. It's going to be very interesting as the rollout happens, if indeed it does happen over the next few months, to see what we are told. Because there are people, not John Harrington perhaps, but there are people in the legacy program who are waiting to see what the Trump administration is going to do about disclosure. And if they don't deal honestly with the public, there will be catastrophic disclosure. I can promise you that.
It's pretty amazing, because sorry, I'm new at this stupid thing. It's pretty amazing because, just been watching this whole thing for the past 9 years. Watching all of these scientists out there all of a sudden going, yeah, whoa, aliens are real? Yeah, okay. Why don't you guys tell us the whole truth? But to also see these Hollywood stars going, yeah, tell us about Epstein. Where are the Epstein files? Why don't you release the Epstein files? Let's see all of the Epstein files. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that all of a sudden? They want to get the show on the road. That's why. Tell the truth. Come on, show your cards. Tell us what's going to... Are they going to tell the truth or not? And they want that to happen because they're all part of this, the evil side of the balance, which is satanic side. They want... Because if Trump shows the truth, this will untie their hands and allow them to take steps and actions. And they're already moving. I mean, I see the whole thing happening now that Sam Altman got his artificial superintelligence to be like, yeah, go for it. That's great. The artificial superintelligence, that's a last resort for them. They want to provoke a global nuclear war. And if they bring about the artificial superintelligence, it will be game over for most of humanity. And they know that. And we know that too, like the good side. And what they're trying to do is, well, if we lose control over humanity, let's just... Okay. They try to bring the artificial superintelligence into the picture. We will have no choice but to stop it. Or we can turn this place into the Matrix. Those are the two. That's the timeline split, the paradox that's coming in 2030. But the whole reason why they're trying to get this artificial superintelligence going is because there's nothing, no one can stop it. A last resort. Because everything's being revealed. I mean, I revealed everything 9 years ago. Well, 9 to 8 years ago. I had most of the information. I figured out the whole fucking thing. This is why they've ignored me for 9 years, because if the truth came out to the public, that'd be a big problem. To find out that we're a slave source, that are all the whole reality that we live in, most of us, is all bullshit, that we've been being used to keep the system going, keep the workers gathering resources, and the other workers still support that system, and they're also using the scientists to gain wisdom, knowledge, and technology. And the whole point to our slave existence that we're living in right now is to gain that wisdom, gain the technology, and then that's been their plan the whole time. And I knew that in 2018 when I found evidence that they were using human beings as a food source to trade for technology and to feed their future. They're all from them, the elite today, from an alternate future timeline, who traveled back into the past and have been living here for God knows how long, thousands of years, the Greys. And what they are clones. There's cloning technology, and there's also conscious transferal technology, or soul transferal technology. But they're also not necessarily cannibals, because they're half human, half reptilian. So are they really cannibals? Not really, but they're satanic. They eat people. They eat human beings. And that's why they built the deep underground military bases, to house the Greys and to feed them and gain technology. And that's what the military did. But the entire military complex is under control of these elites who've been in control of the whole world. You see, now that we're really getting close to the truth coming out, and this is where the whole storm comes from, and what it actually is. It's a war between good and evil, or at least the idea of good and evil, which the entire universe is made up of yin and yang, good and evil. Unfortunately, on this world, it is both good and evil, and that's the left and the right. The reason why we have all these wars, it's a spiritual warfare between good and evil. And it's extremely complex. And a shame that the truth revealed will really, it'll kill a lot of people. It'll kill a lot of people because we've been a slave source, and we a food and drug source, adrenochrome. And they've been trading people for technology this whole time. They've been hunting here this whole time. We've been living under the control of the demonic, satanic, Alpha Draconian, the Draco Orion group, who has had control over Earth for the past 6,000 years, in the middle of the war with the Anunnaki, who is our creators, who is ruled over, or they follow Luna, who is God. She says she's God. And what I've experienced in the fifth density, I'd say yes, that was true, or at least in the position of playing God in that time. Now, is there an all creator, the highest God? I think there is, and I did experience something like that, but so this is why all of these Neil deGrasse Tyson, You have Dr. Stephen Greer, who is part of this reptilian, half reptilian, human reptilian group, the satanic side, who says if this is disclosed improperly, it will be 1,000 times worse than COVID. What the fuck does that mean? It means that if they tell the truth, they'll kill everybody. That's what that means when he says that. If this is disclosed improperly, and this is why Dr. Greer is running around going, no, all the aliens are nice. Yeah, okay, but while you've been feeding them and trading them for technology and keeping them secret for the past 100 years? Dude, what the fuck? So, when the truth comes out that this is our reality, this is what's been going on, the people are going to be freaked. And they're going to panic. And they're going to go, what the fuck did they do here? And they're going to point the fingers at the elite who've been feeding us high fructose corn syrup to fatten us up, because that's what the aliens wanted, the shape-shifting reptilians, to make us easily abductable and produce more blood supplies with the increase in size of us in trade for technology. Now, when the people find that out, when the truth comes out, the people will go, fuck you, and pick up their pitchforks and their torches and go to their door, right? No. Because the elite already know that's what's going to happen. So before that that's why they knew what was coming. Okay, they all knew, because the good and the evil side both have quantum temporal time viewing devices. They all knew. But the whole reason why they, are all of a sudden, Neil deGrasse Tyson, a whole bunch of other people are like, yeah, why don't you guys show us everything? What's the truth? What's the truth? Is because once the truth comes out, then they can act. The storm will begin. The storm. Here, this is part of it here.
Oh, that's gone. And I'm,
So what's gone? It's the alien invasion that was going to happen. Agenda 21.
And I'm, I'd like to believe that at some point you have to stop pretending that yeah, you're right. Maybe we're not just as strong, you mean, yeah.
Because they're half reptilian, half human. Hybrids. Half human, half Draco reptilian from Cain. Satan and Eve produced Cain. And God tried to wipe them out with the flood, and that didn't happen. That didn't work. So now we're at this point in time where the same thing is happening. The Canaanites have really poisoned humanity, and people are super immoral in their day-to-day lives, unaware that this is all a test. And when you die, which there is no death, your soul is taken up to the book of life, and you are reviewed and judged based on your karmic activity on earth. Were you true of heart or not? If you were true of heart, you go to heaven. If you are evil, you go to hell. And Satan, a fifth dimensional entity from Draco, rules over hell. And, or reincarnation. If you were bad but not super evil, you need to try again. And that's what reincarnation is. Unfortunately, for everyone listening to this, it's the final judgment. So this is the last call. So, but this is what's going on. This is what the silent war is. These people knew the future. They knew what was coming. Both sides, the good and the evil side, and it's a temporal time war.
Just as strong, you mean? Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think I'm gonna see next week. So I mean, we have time, but I'm going in and out of places. But not everyone has time.
What does that mean? We have time, but not everyone has time. That means that at some point soon, a lot of these people will be arrested. But there will still be this group of Illuminati, half reptilian, half human hybrids out there who control the entire system, most of the system, willing to sacrifice the rest of us. And it's not just the fact that we find out that they've been eating babies and eating children, and trading human beings for technology with alien beings, and doing all this satanic, evil, satanic shit. But we are overpopulated by design. I mean, they wanted as many people as possible. That's why they never corrected anything. They wanted as many people as possible for the great culling, the great harvest, which was supposed to be Agenda 21, which was stopped when Trump got into office in 2016 over Hillary, because Hillary was the one to let them out of the box to harvest everybody. The Greys living in the deep underground military bases. That's why there were earthquakes in 2019, and again this year there were earthquakes in there too. And they've been. It's not invasion. It's what was it? What did I call it? Infiltration. It's infiltration, not invasion. They infiltrated us. But, you know, and they've been using us as a slave source. And that's why everybody's been told nothing. We haven't been told the truth. Why? And there's more too. Biden's an idiot. He spilled the beans about the whole thing. But they thought that, well, only the people in the secret realm would understand what he was saying. Unfortunately, no. I was paying attention to everything. I know what's going on here. And what this really is, it's good and evil who've been working together in this balance thing, which is just insane. It's insane. There's spiritual laws in place here, like free will. Like, what you don't know is that God made a compromise with the devil because the devil was so powerful and took over 6,000 years ago, took over. And they made a compromise because they were at war with each other, called Night First. Night first. I guess I can show you some evidence to that. Which allowed the satanic side to rule over us. As insane as that sounds, it's absolutely fucking true. God and the devil made a deal. Night first. Allowing Satanism to rule over us in secret until Christ's return, which should be in about 8 years from now, after total destruction. Why is the Pope carrying a black rock? Anybody know what a black rock symbol? Have you ever heard black rock? Well, it's the Black Suns, which is the satanic side of the balance, but he's walking through blood. What the fuck does this have to do with Christ and God? You see, they knew what was actually going on here. You know, we've been trapped in this evil satanic realm for the past 6,000 years. Humanity has been totally kept in the dark, and well, what's going on here? Okay, well, there's another one with Biden. He's talking about 10 years from now. Oh, 10 years from now. 10 years from now, this was in 2020 when he was on the tarmac. Oh, that's what I could look up. Keep forgetting. I'm having a hard time this morning. Hold on a minute. Tarmac. Creepy Joe on the tarmac. What an asshole. Yeah, I have two perspectives of him talking, and try to fill in the blanks of what he's saying because he's such an idiot.
I'm trying to think how short this I'm of the view that in the last 3 to 5 years,
In the last 3 to 5 years from 2020, that was 2016, when WikiLeaks released the evidence of Pizzagate. Pizzagate, which led us straight to James Elefantis of Comet Ping Pong, who was actually James D. Rothschild, which really fucked them up.
the world has reached a fundamental inflection point.
It's reached a fundamental, I don't know what he said there, crushing point? A crushing point? I don't know, whatever. It's reached a fundamental breaking point because of the truth revealed. That's a big problem for the satanic side, who are willing to kill everyone because of this. Because we found out what was going on, that they've been raping and eating children. This is why it's not on the news, and this is why there's been a slow 9-year fucking build-up to them spending 10 minutes to tell the truth about the aliens. Okay? It would take 10 to 15 minutes to explain what's been going on. We're a slave source. We've been ruled over by evil, satanic reptilian beings who, most of these people, most of these elite, are half reptilian themselves. They're the same bloodline. That's why they follow the bloodline. They're half Draco reptilian. From Cain. That's why they've been eating chilled human beings. We're their food. So they've been making deals with these beings this whole time behind our back while they've been using us as a slave source. And the whole point is to get all this information, technology, and knowledge, and then dump the population. That's the fucking problem we have. But we've been under this constant attack of being called. They want to kill us off. They've been trying for quite some time. But every time for the past... Well, there was one in 2012. There was another one in 2021, which was stopped by Trump. And then another one, if Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, won the election, we would have been called. And because Trump won, this is why the New Jersey drone war happened in December of 2024, because the military brought in all of these planes, airplanes, and helicopters dressed with lights to fool the public into being like, oh, those are just helicopters, those are just drones, oh, whatever. And then a week later, they sent in the Galactic Federation to shoot up and stop the Greys in New Jersey. But this was because of Trump's win. Because it's all tied into politics. That's where there's a right side and a left side. But in reality, it's good and evil. They've been working together this whole fucking way. And they've been calling it night first, which has been leading up to day. Day is when Christ returns. And God returns, the Anunnaki, the golden orb. And Christ consciousness is freed. But to reach that point, we have to go through these assholes who've been in control of the entire system this whole time, willing to kill everybody off, which is where this is all headed. This is why they got the artificial superintelligence going with Sam Altman and Google, trying to get this thing going to start a global nuclear war. Because everybody knows that the artificial superintelligence would turn this place into the fucking Matrix, which is what they want. They want to provoke because they're out of options. But anyway, so 3 to 5 years ago, which was Pizzagate, the world reached a fundamental breaking point, which was, shit, people are waking up to the realization that these people are fucking evil. Bad people. That evil is real. Satanism is real. Which puts them in a very difficult position. And us. That's why this has been very sensitive, very slow going, telling the truth.
About what it's going to look like 10 years from now. I mean,
10 years from now? What it's going to look like in 10 years? That's 2030. They knew the goddamn timeline. They knew the timeline. Just like Bill Wood said in the interview with Carrie Cassidy about Project Looking Glass, saying that this is like a chess game. You have two master chess players. The good wins, but at what cost? And it's not good. It's really not good. And it's very concerning. I really hope and I pray that we could reach ascension and enlightenment and freedom, truth. But are these people actually willing to allow this to happen once they lose their crop, their property?
literally, hyperbole. It's not like I'm trying to pump it up. I think it's a genuine reality. I'm trying to think how to shorten this so I can get in the plan. I'm of the view that in the last 3 to 5 years, the world has reached a fundamental inflection point about what it's going to look like 10 years from now. I mean it literally. It's not hyperbole. It's not like I'm trying to pump it up. I think it's a genuine reality. And so each of the countries around the world, particularly those who had real power at one time or still do, are wondering, how do I maintain and sustain our leadership in the world? That's what the United States is going through right now.
Yeah, how do they maintain this control they have over humanity? That's why they want to introduce the beast system. Get everybody all chipped up. These evil fucking people don't want us to be awake. And that's what's going on. That's what Agenda 30 is with the UN, Bill Gates, all these people, they're Satan worshippers. Child-eating Satan worshippers.
Sends to Peter Thiel, Brexit, just the beginning. Peter Thiel responds, of what? And Epstein goes, return to tribalism, counter to globalization, amazing new alliances. You and I both agreed zero interest rates were too high. And as I said in your office, finding things on their way to collapse was much easier than finding the next bargain. This is where the whole bankers profiteering off of war, and obviously Peter Thiel is not a banker. Jeffrey worked in finance for bankers and stuff, but like they're from the banker class, if you will. This is where I look at that and go, well, here you go. I've never seen you so speechless this much.
I feel bad that I'm so shocked. It's so sickening. I didn't realize it was this deep.
You see, they want to use the whole alien threat narrative thing, which there is, but they want to twist it in their own way to shape it as they want to use it. Like they were not involved at all, which they were. They were making deals with these aliens, these evil aliens, trading human beings for technology this whole fucking time, since World War II. Because these evil aliens have been allowed by night first, the deal between God and the devil, to rule over humanity and use us any way they want, because they've been in control of humanity. So the return to tribalism in the email to Jeffrey Epstein, and how we can use this to really, take control. It's chaos to order. Have you ever heard of that before? It's chaos to order, which is just insanity. They want to pretend like they're not in control of anything, and the whole revelation of the truth coming out all of a sudden, we want to help everybody. We want to fix it. We want to, make things okay and be safe for everybody. And it's just more manipulation, more fucking bullshit, more satanic bullshit. And that's why Peter Thiel runs around going, oh, the Antichrist is coming, the Antichrist is coming, which is all inversion of the truth. It's inversion. Because they're afraid of the one who holds the power, who is to come. The beast. They make fun of him.
I have noticed a very strange behavior among the rich folk. I've been delivering since 2014.
This is very serious right now. And this just came out maybe a week ago.
have never seen the rich folk prepping like they've been doing the last like 2 months. They have buying, a lot of them have been buying dry foods, buying generators. A lot of them have been trying, getting like dry foods, rice, like beans, like all the stuff I've been delivering. And when I delivered, they're like, oh, put in a garage. One of this other guy, he has his whole entire garage built out. And when I asked him why is he doing it, he's just like my gut feeling. So I don't know what they're being prepped for. Why are they buying so many of the emergencies, like? But they're buying a lot. They're prepping, and I deliver to like people who are earning million plus. Some of these houses are like $2-3 million, and they're prepping for something, not to leave or go anywhere, just like to stay in. They're prepping. That's highly suspicious. What do you guys think?
This was in Springfield, Missouri. It's endless down there, where they've been bringing in truckloads of supplies forever. It's been, forever that they've been doing this. But that last video of that dude talking was about a week, 2 weeks ago. This guy released this video. So for the past 2 months, the rich, not the super rich, I mean, this is more military and super rich, they knew what was coming a long time ago. Well, for the past 100 years they've been preparing for the end of humanity. Okay, the rich, and that's not the super rich, this is just rich people, okay, multi-millionaire people, not the billionaires. The billionaires have their own game, their own platform of survival, which is this kind of stuff. But the rich, they know what's coming. They know that the storm is coming, and that storm is the truth coming out. And the truth coming out, and people realizing, oh my God, we've been living in this slave reality, being used as a slave source / food source / satanic prison, soul trap prison by aliens. They're gonna freak. And the satanic elite, the half reptilian, half humans, are gonna go, wow, it's time. Now that the truth is revealed, our hands are untied, and we can start killing off the people. That's where this is going. That's why there are people showing up at the White House shooting up the place. Why there are all of these scientists related to the UFO technologies being murdered, all of this disappearing. They're being disappeared. It's the storm. The storm is and will be the war between Satanism and good God, to get to day, which is when Jesus gets back. But that's 8 years from now, and most people are not going to survive this. Unfortunately, you have the right to know. It's forecasted. It's been planned. The good and the evil side work together, but they also war together. It's very unfortunate because the satanic side has had so much power, they are unwilling to let go of that power. They've been trying to do this second night, or night forever, where it's this continuous satanic group of people who rule over humanity forever. And when the truth comes out, well, this will untie their hands, and they'll start releasing viruses, and you can see it with the raising of the oil price. Well, we'll just raise up the oil prices. What else is going on? Oh, all of a sudden there's a food shortage happening all of a sudden. Yeah, that's the elite pulling the strings going, we'll just start taking away stuff. Yeah. Yeah, this is the storm. They know it's coming. And why now? What does this have to do with the aliens? Well, the aliens have been fucking eating us. And when the people find out, the elite are going to be in trouble. Because they've been trading human beings for technology. And the satanic side are going to go, well, before the people can rise up, guess what?
Nicknames, if you will. One of Cheyenne Mountain's nicknames, if you will, is America's Fortress. So we do occasionally, we'll call ourselves America's Fortress for a reason, and that is because we are, by design, here for the worst day in American history. We are sitting here today as the #1 DoD rated EMP protected facility. We like to say we're the most secure facility in America, because when you're doing command and control of our nation's defense, the security levels are very, very high. Hearing that thud of the blast door shutting, that leaves an impression on you that you're inside some place that not everybody can get to, and it's someplace important. So one of the ways I try to describe what Cheyenne Mountain is for, and really kind of an analogy that people can understand why it's here and what our mission is I equate it to the nervous system in the human body. If you sort of see satellites, ground-based sensors around the world, mobile systems that send us signals, all those hundreds and thousands of sensors around the world that send signals back to us to tell us about an airplane, about a missile launch, about stuff in space for our national defense. If you equate those to sort of the nervous system of our body, the ground-based sensors, satellites are out there. They're going to be the first things that sense or detect something going on. Then they have to be fed somewhere. And so what Cheyenne Mountain really is sort of becomes the brain stem where all those nerves come into, similar to your body. We correlate that data so that it becomes a coherent message. And then we pass it on then to the decision makers, the national leaders of the United States, the president, the Secretary of Defense, the National Command Authority in the Pentagon. But before they get it, it has to be that correlated. So that's kind of where I look at it as sort of the brainstem of our nervous system. So part of my job as the deputy director for the base is kind of like running an underground city. And with it.
So anyway, what's been going on here is that the military knew with the Project Looking Glass, they knew that shit was going to hit the fan in the future, that there was going to be a war. And they basically robbed the American taxpayers to build these underground cities, mostly for the elite to survive. The very intelligent, the very rich to survive underground. And they made a movie about it called The City of Ember. Have you ever seen that one? 2006.
The next 50 years.
On the day the world ended, the fate of mankind was carried in a small metal box.
See, they tell us this shit.
In a secret location, architects, scientists, and engineers met and concluded that there was only one hope for our future: to build an underground city designed to keep its citizens protected for generations to come.
very serious. What they're planning to do.
Secure the box. Set it for 200 years. We'll keep them in the city for 200 years.
This is a real fucking plan.
You're certain they'll be long? None of us can be certain of it.
Where do you think all that taxpayer money has been going to? $42 trillion? They had 131 deep underground military bases built in 1996. That cost $18 billion apiece. 18 billion times 131 equals $2.3 trillion. $2.3 trillion, you mean the exact amount fucking missing from the Pentagon that Rumsfeld revealed in September 10th, 2001, and the very next day 9/11 happened, which the Twin Towers were not the main targets. They were a distraction. And they used the Twin Towers because they were filled with asbestos. Do you know how much it would cost to remove all the asbestos out of those fucking towers? Well, they couldn't just demolish them because it would, all those people would, you know, it would cause cancer. If they demolished them, it would be in the air. The asbestos would be in the air causing cancer. Well, then they'd be liable to being sued for, you know, causing cancer. So they couldn't just demolish them. So they used them. The real targets were World Trade Center 7 and the Pentagon. Why? To hide the fucking paper trail and the receipts to the building of the deep underground cities that they used, not only to build these cities for them, for the end times, because they fucking knew they had time travel. They knew 100 years ago this was going to happen. But it was also to house them from the future, the Greys, who are actually child-eating satanic monsters. Demons, if you want to call them that. That's how fucked up this whole fucking thing. It's a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. So they built these underground cities, and this fucking movie has what they want to do, which is they put everybody in the city, and they hide the truth again. What was the truth? Oh, well, that they've been feeding the aliens children in trade for technology, using taxpayers' money to do all of this. That's what the Holocaust was. They built the Holocaust railroads into the shape of Orion because that's where the Orion group comes from. What's going on here? Hi. What, I can't share my screen now? Jeez, you kidding me? Great, it won't let me share the screen. I guess they don't like me talking about it. Oh, great. Well, I guess let me try to reload the screen. Let me know in the comments if you don't mind. Alright, so what this is it's a map of the Nazi death marches, and you can look it up. The pathways were railroad tracks and walking pathways to the death camps. They built it specifically in the shape of Orion, because that's where their future selves come from, the Orion group. And this, in World War II, it was the elite who afforded the First World War, put money into Germany. And I'm pretty sure it was to act as a doorstop to stop the spread of communist Russia into Europe, which Europe was controlled by the Illuminati, the Zionists, the half-reptilian, half-human Moloch worshippers. And then they played both sides of the World War. And they realized, holy shit, we got a lot of money. We got these people to work really hard to fight the enemy. And what came out of that was great technologies like bacterial soap, hand soap, like penicillin, and great weapons. And it was very lucrative for them. So they were like, okay, let's do that again. And they did another world war, dumping money into Germany again. That's how Germany stood up after 20 years after a world war. They stood right up again. How did they do that? Well, the super rich dumped all their money into them. And then this time, they made a deal with the aliens, the Draco reptilians, trading human beings for technology. And they targeted the Jews because of revenge from Moses and God, leading the Jews out of Orion rule. That's why the pyramids in Giza, Egypt, aligned to Orion. And why the it wasn't the Nazis, the SS, who was Black Suns, that's the Black Suns group, which is satanic, which is the Orion group, and the Alpha Draconian, the reptilians. That's their symbol. And it was Himmler. And they were doing this satanic black magic shit, communicating with these entities. And they were working with the Zionists under their control, who basically Rothschild. The whole Rothschild was arrested by Hitler. That was all a fucking lie. It was all bullshit. Oh, we're gonna give the Jews to Israel to the Jews. And they did that to try to provoke a war with the Jews and the Muslims, which the Muslims are actually Satan worshippers, which you didn't know. But that's why their whole culture is all this evil child rape, marrying little children and wanting to kill everybody. Well, that's because in reality, and why they've been walking around the Saturn's cube in Mecca, is because Saturn is Satan. Yeah, the Muslims, they're all fucking Satan worshippers. They're all these evil Satan worshippers. This is why they flooded Europe and America with Muslims, to provoke, because of this satanic balance. Rothschild, Soros, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, these people, and Peter Thiel, and you know him, Sam Altman. These people are all part of the Illuminati. Child-eating, child-raping Satan worshippers who hate humanity. I mean, for Christ's sakes, they make leather shoes out of baby skin and dye them red. and they've been in control of the entire system this whole fucking time, and they traded the Jews for technology. They say they are Jews but are not. Yeah, it's the Zionists. It's Rothschild. So, not only did they put all their money into here, and the Allied troops got in there and stopped it, which in turn, the Nazi UFO group went down to Antarctica, where the Black Suns were living. The Black Suns, the Alpha Draconian and the Orion group have been living. And Admiral Byrd was sent down there with the entire Pacific Fleet and got his ass handed to him by the Nazi UFOs and the unmarked UFOs, which was the Black Suns, the Draco reptilians. Kicked his ass. He came back. He opened his mouth and talked about what was going on for about 2 weeks, and they stopped him and they showed him what was going on. He wrote a poem about it, about night and day, and we have to wait until the truth is revealed in public. We can't say anything. There was a poem that he wrote that was basically that. But they told him the truth about what was going on. They couldn't act. They couldn't do anything until somebody came along in the public and revealed it. So that was 1947. So because the Zionists were in control of the world and the United States of America, they built the identical railroad system to the Nazi death marches in secret underground, deep underground military bases. Now, I know this map is real. It's drawn, but it's real. And I know it's real because this distance from that one to Auschwitz is 300 miles. Well, what they did was they took the Orion star constellation, they flipped it upside down and inverted it, and built it identical in not only shape of Orion, but in size. It's 300 miles across and 300 miles across. They're identical, which tells me that this map is good. This is a true map. And not only that, but there were earthquakes at nearly every single location of the deep underground military base, the secret deep underground military bases, in 2019 and again this year. Recently, there were more earthquakes at these locations. They've been running quite the operation on our dime here, ladies and gentlemen. They've been trading human beings for food for technology. True disclosure, why everybody's panicking, why, there are people out there afraid of for their daughter's sake. Yeah, that's because when the truth comes out, these elites who've been in control of the entire system, who've been making deals with the reptilians, like high fructose corn syrup to fatten us up so we can be more easily harvestable and create more blood for them to drink. Once they're revealed, they will take action against us. That's what's going on. So I can give you a better map. Another perspective to include the Orion star system, because so far they think it's just the three stars. Oh, Orion's belt. No, it's not just the three stars. It's the entire star system. That's where they come from. So basically, the Nazi death marches is just this little piece of star system. They put it right here. Okay, it's identical, close to. For the 1940s, without satellite, they did a really good job building this structure 300 miles across. They did a really good job. They just took a map and they laid out, they drew the Orion star constellation and built it. Now, this time in America, because the Zionists had control over the entire system in America with the banks, they used the military to do the same thing. But this time, instead of the elites dumping all that money into building these railroads, they were like, hey, we can do a secret underground railroad system and connect every single one with vacuum tubes, so they'd be high-speed railway systems. But this time, the elite didn't have to pay for this. We'll just fuck over the taxpayers and rob them to build this. Why not? We're gonna kill off everybody anyway. And that was their plan. That's why we're overpopulated. That's why everybody's fat. That's why everybody's fucking stupid. That's why we're all being poisoned left and right in every single fucking possible way. It's because they've been planning on killing us off. Why do you think everybody got the vaccine? And there's been this big fucking war, this big nightmare war between Trump and the deep state. So, that's what happened. The truth. And, well, I'm not having it. They've been trading children. All the missing children have been going right into the deep underground military bases to be adrenochrome harvested. And that's off of many different whistleblowers and all the evidence that I've gone through. It's very clear. Insane. So what do you guys think? I don't know your story. Can you tell about yourself? Sure. I was born at a Buddhist monastery in the Catskill Mountains of New York State. My father was a genius. My mother and father were both Buddhists. My father was a genius mechanical engineer, rebuilding old machinery with new technology, and mostly in the 80s and 90s. He was also an inventor. The man could sit and read a book in like 3 hours in a night, like a full book. It was very impressive. But I guess during about 16, I started sitting meditation at the place where I was born at, and about 21, I experienced profound, I guess if you want to call it, enlightenment. And then, like, I guess around 27, I went back to doing meditation. I was a mechanic, a car mechanic in New Jersey, and that's what I did for 15, 16 to about 21, 22, working on cars. That's what I did. And until I was in a car accident at 21. I got pretty fucked up, but ripped my L4, L5 disc. I had back surgeries when I was 24, and they fucked up on one of the surgeries. The screw was too long, and it hit my nerve root, and I had a second surgery done, and I worked my ass off trying to get back, in shape, and doing yoga every morning and doing all that, and I went back to sitting meditation in Japan, where I did meet a reptilian shapeshifter there. Yeah, he showed up out of nowhere, spent a week there, couldn't handle the sitting because the sitting was 8 hours, 8 to 15 hours a day, depending. It was a lot. A lot of sitting, very intense, and but he lasted about a week. But I saw him on one of the days off, and I came out of the 7-Eleven, and there he was standing at the corner, and I went up to him, and he said something to me I don't really remember, but his eyes turned to split, like cat's eyes, reptilian eyes, and he grew like 3 feet above me, and I was just like, whoa, what the fuck? I didn't say anything, but I stepped back, and I was just like, and it was like a hypnotic gaze that he held me in, and I broke my look to him, and I was just like, what was that? You know, what the fuck? I instantly thought that guy's doing evil. That guy's up to no good. Little did I know when I got into the research, in like 2017, when they came to me, and while I was sitting meditation, translucent beings, just like the ones that Baba Vaga saw, and were giving her information about the future to come. Well, they came to me while I was sitting, and that triggered me into doing research, which basically I revealed the entire alien thing that nobody knows about, and the people who do know about it had to keep it secret, so they buried me, and they just ignored me. And over the past 9 years, it's been 9 years of sitting here trying to wake up, warn the people. An impossible endeavor. And I knew it was going to be impossible. As soon as I found the evidence in 2017, the Nazca alien mummies. Let me get that going here. I realized that the Nazca alien mummies were for sure real. These beings. And when I saw the evidence, I knew they were real, especially the x-rays. When I saw the x-rays of these beings, it's impossible. You can't fake nature. I knew they were real. You can't fake x-rays like that. So I knew they were real, and then that was 11 days after I had contact from these translucent beings, and I felt a touch underneath my chin, and it lifted up my head, and while I was sitting meditation, I looked down, and I could see these black eyes in front of me, but with translucent, it was like a translucent figure. It wasn't like a light being. I've seen light beings before. I had a spiritual grandfather, my spiritual grandfather, who, once I got into all this shit, I went over to his house to visit with him, and I told him all my research. I'm researching these extraterrestrials, and he turned around to me and he goes, "Oh, aliens?" And all of a sudden, about 10 to 12 light beings appeared behind him, and I was just like, holy shit. So he was able to communicate with these beings, light beings. What I experienced was this touch. It was a translucent being. I wouldn't call them light beings, because the light beings are like made a light. This was more translucent, like it was a physical being that touched me. And when it lifted up my head and I looked down and I saw its eyes and the translucent skin, I saw another one step around the side of it holding an iron rod, with a quarter collar on the end of that rod. And like a collar, like a dog collar, but only a quarter of it. And it looked like it had writing in the collar. And it stuck it up against my neck for 3 seconds, let go, and then stepped back and disappeared behind the first one. And then the first one lowered my head, stepped backwards, and turned right and like disappeared. And I was like, holy fuck, they're fucking real. And then I started doing the research, and 11 days later, the Nazca alien mummies released on Gaia TV, and I was like, holy fuck, they're real. They're there. There's the evidence. Well, a week after they were released, so that was 11 days after they had contact with me. A week after they were released on Gaia TV, I realized that they were the same species sitting with King Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti. That they're the same species. That these beings are not their children, like we were lied to about. But later, I thought they were God. I thought they were God because it's the sun god Aten, or Atan. But later I figured out that they were actually God's angels, the cherubs. Cherub. That's what these beings are. They're God's angels, and I'm pretty sure they come from Sirius B. But that's from the Dogen tribe, where they have the little beings as their headdresses. And that's what they look like quite recently after death. Because these are thousands of years old. In the desert, dipped in lime or lye or whatever. So, but they are gray and they're little. They're God's angels. And this is the true symbol of God. The Anunnaki. The Anunnaki. So, they are the cherubs, and they are of the good side of the balance. And they have been at war with the Alpha Draconian. Saturn, or Satan. But this is who the Freemasons, why they worship them. But behind the Anunnaki is Luna. Luna is God. Or at least in the position of God. She takes care of heaven. The Anunnaki are the ones who gifted the Freemasons the compass, the square, the level, the looking glass, knowledge, and why Luna is standing on Satan, who is actually evil Draco. Saturn. This is another thing. It's not the Anunnaki, King Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti. The Anunnaki, or Aten, were not their children. It's the same thing with this. Oh, it's Saturn eating his children. No, they're not children. They're the Anunnaki. they're our creators. Cupid's arrows. Cupid, they're cherubs. The Nazca alien mummies. But that's been the war this whole time. Here's another painting of the cherub gifting the square to humanity. And Saturn with the sickle. See the sickle? It's because of Saturn would show up and harvest humanity over and over and over again. Harvest. That's why Saturn, or Satan, holds a sickle, and this is the whole thing with Father Time, and the new year is always a baby. But what was really going on was it was an Alpha Draconian, a reptilian, hunting and taking over the cherub, which is the Anunnaki. In reality, that's what's been going on here. And I know this because of this one here. So there's the cherub, and there's Saturn ruling over humanity. Right? Saturn is Satan, who is the Alpha Draconian, a reptile. There's the Anunnaki, or the cherub, on its knee, just as it is right here in Sumerian time. It's the same posture, the same pose. When the Orion group, the Draco, showed up and took over from the Anunnaki, enslaved them, running over them with a chariot, standing on them, running over them with a chariot, Moloch, and them being forced to kneel in front of Moloch and the Orion group. This is where all of these gods come from. Many different gods, like Greece, like the Mayan, the Aztec. Why there are many different gods? This is why. Different extraterrestrial races working together to conquer species, the Orion group and the Alpha Draconian, taking over from the Anunnaki. These beings are creators, or at least they were helping God, who is Luna. I'll show you another image, because positions change over time. Saturn was ruling over, and then Luna, their images of Luna ruling over as well. The position changes over time. There's certain spiritual laws that allow these entities to rule over us during certain times. So once we wake up, then, it has to change over. Once the truth is revealed, once night ends, that's what they call it, night. Got any questions? Want to know anything? Yeah, it was all here. I mean, all the evidence, it's very clear to me. It's very unfortunate because people are more interested in, pornography and jerking off and playing video games, and, well, I've been spending this time looking for the truth. it was important to me for people to know the truth. And, well, unfortunately, it will probably cause a lot of problems for us in the future, but too bad. The truth is the truth, and, well, this is all in my free book, all the Orion stuff, and it's at my website, theorionlines.com. But I want to get to Luna. You can see more positions of the Orion group taking over from the Anunnaki. Moloch. But it was all here. It was just, yes, they're leprechauns with the gold, because the Anunnaki created us to mine gold for them, to build their to fix their atmosphere for Naibru, which also contains their planet. Which contains their planet. It's a gigantic golden sphere. It's very intelligent. It's a Dyson sphere, and they're able to move their planet through time and space. Very clever to escape the Orion group and the Draco, who've been eating them and us. We're in a multi-dimensional spiritual prison system ruled over by the Draco reptilian, Alpha Draconian, who looks like this. Exactly like that. Oh, come on now. Sorry. So it's not so simple. It's not like, oh, they're just going to hand over the place soon. Now we're going to reveal everything, and all this free energy technology is going to be released, everybody. Everything's going to be great. We're going to shift over to the fifth dimension. The fifth, everybody's going to ascend, and everything's going to be great. And we're going to have all this technology. And no. It's not going to happen like that. You think these motherfuckers who've been ruling over us, using us as a food source, eating babies, eating children, you think they're just going to let it? No. They're going to have this artificial superintelligence creep up, and they're going to provoke a nuclear war. They don't want us here anymore. They've been using us as a slave source. And they've been in control of the entire system this whole time, so... You know, for people to run around thinking that this is going to be some easy thing to get out of are sorely mistaken. They truly are. And, you know, you see these positions are interchangeable. The God positions. But it's been Luna who's been ruling over us, watching over us. She is God. She's the one who probably created us, but with the, I really wanted to get into the, she's the moon goddess, and then there's Saturn, or Satan, Luna. This is the Freemasons artwork, but it's Luna. Luna's in charge here. She's also known as Hathor. And in the fifth density, they weigh the heart to the feather to see if we're able to go into this heaven, this spiritual container. And Jesus goes through the book of life. In fact, when you die, you'll pretty much see this. except it's not. There's no curtains. It's more like space. But you will see the steps, 3 steps, leading up to a podium holding the Book of Life, and it will look almost just like this, but the pages are curved at the end, and it's a glass book, but it will have holographic images of your life that Christ will be able to scroll through and go, oh, here, you see this where you did this, and it's like they know already, and they'll scroll through it and go, oh, look how good you did here. You did really good here, and you'll be judged your whole life. You can't hide anything, but your soul is like a karmic recording device, so that when you die, you're judged and placed heaven, hell, or reincarnation. But because this is the final judgment, there is no reincarnation until the latter day, which is after night. And, well, it's not good. It's not good because it's a storm in order to get to day. And it's a lot of people are going to die. Why does it keep doing that? Oh, but a lot of people are going to suffer because of this, because of the satanic side who have been in control of the world. But it's Luna. She's the one who's been ruling over, and just like that image of Saturn above the clouds, there's Luna. She's also Diana the Hunter. Her symbol is the lobster, which symbolizes evolution. Evolution. But you see, she's above the clouds with humanity underneath. They have change in positions over time. Positions change. What do you guys think? I guess you could put comments into the but that's my story pretty much. I basically after contact, and I've had other contacts before in my life, in Japan, seeing that shape-shifting reptilian. He was a very normal looking dude, very normal. He was very plain, and he shifted in front of me, but I thought it was just bad shit he was into, until I got into this extraterrestrial thing 10 years after the event. That was 2007 in Japan, and then 10 years later, 2017, maybe a few years after that, 2019, 2020, when I realized, holy fuck, there are half reptilian, half human, and we're being visited also by the reptilians who live here. Naturally. They're naturally here, and, it's just such a shame to be in this war when we're beings. We're being. It doesn't matter if you're part reptilian or half human or whatever the fuck you are. If you're a sentient life form and being, we're here together. And there's no separation other than the choice to be evil or to be good. That's the only separation, and it's not. In ultimate reality, there is no separation. We are all of existence, which really drives me crazy. Just, with all that. I guess maybe if you have any questions, I'm pretty much wrapping up. I guess you could put them in the chat. I've got 58 people watching this on X. What's up? Yeah, I'm Ryushin. I basically figured out this whole thing. It was all there. It was all there. And people knew. And we've been lied to and kept in the dark until the truth was revealed. Yeah, you see, this is Lucifer. And I know that's Lucifer because of in front of Luna, meeting with Luna, you see how he's chained to the apple of knowledge, just like the Lucifer in... Here, I can show you. Lucifer is not Satan. Another lie. They made Lucifer evil because when he showed up with the truth, with the light of the truth, you would automatically hate him because they're evil Satan worshippers. But here's the Catholic Church saying that Lucifer is the father of Jesus Christ. Why would they say that? Why would they sing that? Why would they sing that? I mean, they say it right here.
Supernis luminaribus misceatur, flammas eius, Lucifer matutinus inveniat. Ille inquam Lucifer, qui nescit ocassum, Christus filius tuus.
Christ is your son? Christ is your son?
Qui regressus ab inferis, humano generis errenus illuxit, et te convivit et regnat.
So, why would they sing that in one of their hymns? Not only that, but the Freemasons say that Lucifer is God. Well, if the Freemasons think that Lucifer is God, and you have the Holy Church singing that Lucifer is the father of Christ, Christ is your son. Well, why? So, would that mean that Lucifer is God? It's a very difficult thing. And here's the see how he's chained to the apple of knowledge, imprisoned with the crown of shame, because it is a shame. All of humanity is poisoned and evil, and a broken scepter out of frustration and tormented. It's not because Lucifer is Satan. Lucifer with the snake at his feet, evil wrapped around him. It's because people have been lied to about everything. About the great red dragon being the devil. No, he's been fighting the demon who is Rothschild, the whole satanic side, pointing in the other direction. Oh, it's over there, it's over there, it's over there. But the great red dragon knew better. It's not. It's you. It's Rothschild feeding babies to sacrificing babies, and the great red dragon flying over. This painting is entitled the flight of Moloch. And that's not Moloch. That's Rothschild feeding Moloch babies, sacrificing Moloch babies, the great red dragon flying over to look above to see the smoke. And him flying over is the map of the Nazi death marches and the deep underground military bases, being able to see from above. That's what this means. And how did they know that 200 years ago? Well, they knew the timeline. They knew the timeline. Lucifer waiting for day. Lucifer watching the snakes evil. And there was nothing he could do. Only watch it. But these people knew the timeline, and that's... But it's all here, all the evidence, and Satan's army, that's not Satan, it's Lucifer. Going after Rothschild and Marina Abramovich, the Satan worshippers. Satan's army is actually the United States military, who've been back there fucking kids this whole time. That's right. That's why they called this painting Satan's army. It's not Satan. It's all inversion technique. It's Lucifer who's been going after the evil in this world. They inverted it so the people out there would hate Lucifer when he showed up. The Statue of Liberty, yeah, holding the book, fighting evil. They inverted it to trick everybody. A nice satanic ending. Oh, the Antichrist is coming. The Antichrist is coming. The Antichrist. You better be afraid of the Antichrist. Yeah, it's evil inverting the truth. So you fear. It's deception. Oh, the false light. Yeah. That's all bullshit. It's evil to deceive. Pretty crazy shit, right? Anybody else want to talk about anything? Got any questions or comments? I can put this... I'll put Lucifer, my website, into the chat. I don't know if this is showing up in X, though. Live conversation. But I'll put it in the chat. If you want to go check it out, it's in the comment section. Got a lot of people here on X. I'm starting to do these new lives on X and Rumble and YouTube at the same time. So, yep, I've got a lot of information that's replayed, but it's important information. It's all going according to plan. But things change over time because they have the ability to look into the future, and they're in the middle of a temporal time war with the satanic side. So things change. like what's changed with using Israel, like Albert Pike said, oh, they're going to do a World War III with Israel versus the Muslims. Well, that shit changed. And it's very complicated because you don't know what's actually been going on secretively with the whole secret societies. The Zionists who've been in control of Israel made a deal with the good side, because it's not just the Zionists, it's also the Satan worshippers who've been working together, the two snakes, Orion and Draco, who've been going after the pineal gland of the human being in the rod. And then there's the good side. So there's two bads. Moloch is a demon. Satan is the devil. And so it's very complicated, because there are multiple, many different secret societies at play. It's not just the elite who are evil. No. There's a good and a bad. And the bad is made up of different sides, just like the good is made up of many different goods. But that's the balance. And the Zionists, who were told by God in Genesis that whoever helps the Jews will allow God to protect Israel. So it's a very, very complicated thing, but basically there was Albert Pike who said that we wanted to do this World War III thing. He wrote in the book, and that's because he knew the whole timeline thing. Let's see if I can pull this out. Hold on a minute. Okay, good. Let's see what I'm doing. So they wanted to use a war between the Zionists, who are the Moloch worshippers, and the Satan worshippers, who is Islam. The Satan worshippers, they worship the Alpha Draconian and the black cube, Saturn's cube. That's why they walk around it. It's actually what his vehicle looks like. His vehicle is a black cube. Okay, the Alpha Draconian. And that's who the Muslims have been worshiping in secret. And they wanted to go to war with the Zionists, who are Moloch, the Orion group. That's why they set it up that way. But things change over time, because this was written 200 years ago. Well, how did he know these things were going to come to pass? The true light manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out into the public. Yeah, that's why they've been keeping my work secret for the past 9 years. But I spent the past 9 years fighting the whole system, fighting the whole satanic side, fighting with the truth of the evidence, fighting their system, and not only fighting their system, but fighting ignorance in the human world of regular, normal people, trying to fight the evidence with the evidence, fight the ignorance with the evidence. After 9 years of doing that, I've become very defeated. It's been very defeating for me, which is what the Satan worshippers wanted to do. All they could do was prolong the game, just like Bill Wood said. But I know what this is because, well, I have the book. My book. Brought finally out into the public. Yeah, they want to do a World War III in order to, a war with Iran, in order to reveal the truth with my book, which will set me up for the stage. But this is all That's the book the Statue of Liberty's holding. It's my book. Okay, and it's a free copy in Word and PDF at my website. Either under it's on my first page, theorionlines.com, or theorionlines.com/ it's everywhere. It's all over my website, but Lucifer or / book, it's all there. And not only that, but I have maybe the first 100 pages out of 650 pages spoken about, because I designed it to be a coffee table book so people could sit and read it, the truth revealed, the research with all the evidence in it. It's a picture book, and I did that. I made it that way because nobody reads, nobody has time to read, and that's primarily why things fell flat. What do you know about the Gigi? Is that what you said? The Gigi? The Gigi were a workforce for the Anunnaki until they rebelled. The Gigi are, I'm pretty sure, which means that I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure they are Maria. And I have all of the information at my website. I mean, like everything. I had all the time in the world to sit here and figure it out, and it fell right into my lap, and they chose me. God chose me to reveal the truth, to enter into this war. It was basically like walking into a chess game blindfolded and started to move pieces by revealing evidence, and then I pulled down the blindfold and I saw my opponent was Jacob Rothschild, or Satan himself, and I was like, oh fuck, what did I get myself into? It was a war, an ancient war between God and the devil, but the Gigi, I'm pretty sure, are these beings, the Nazca alien mummies, who were the labor force, and that's what they look like alive. That's a picture in like the 70s. But they were working for the Nazca alien mummies, and I know, I say that they're the Gigi because of this image right here, the Mayan tablet, which is a 4-foot by 3-foot tablet, and I have all the information here. It's all here, like everything, all of it. I collected everything and I put it all on my website. The whole Mayan thing, when I was going through these ancient tablets that were pouring out of Mexico, and I realized like King Pakal, which was the big this is how bad they fucked me over.
It was not a space.
When I saw one of the tablets with this person being sacrificed by the aliens, I was like, I saw the position of the sacrifice, and I was like, holy fuck, that's the same as this rocket ship that Eric von Däniken was deceiving the public about. Eric von Däniken, just as Zachariah Stitchin, and most of these fucking people in the UFO community, they're all a bunch of Satan worshippers who hate humanity, who want to hide the truth. And there's what's his name, Cuckoo Khan, who is friends with Quetzalcoatl, who is Moloch, who is Orion, and this is Kukulkan, who is Draco, the Alpha Draconian. Sticking what I realized, that's not a rocket ship. That's not a fucking rocket. It's a sacrifice with a gigantic sacrificial knife cutting into... This is the lid of King Bakal. It's like a 12-foot lid on his sarcophagus. It's sacrifice with a giant knife going into him, pushed in by Kukulkan, who is Draco, the Alpha Draconian, Saturn, Satan, with blood pouring out of him on the sacrificial altar. Not a fucking rocket ship. Just another lie for humanity to swallow. This guy's also a Satan worshiper. They all are. They're all a bunch of fucking deceiving liars. Half reptilian, half human. And in control of the entire system with all the money behind them. So these people are paid, like Stephen Greer, they're all there. Jeremy Corbell, Chris Bledsoe, Jay Anderson, this guy, all of the Ancient Aliens, all that whole show is all controlled by the fucking people. And let's see here, Eric Von Doniken, Zachariah Stitchin. These people are all part of this satanic group who've been controlling humanity, lying to us for money, for power, whatever. The truth revealed, and that's why they won't acknowledge me. Let's see, where's that? Oh, here it is. Here's the tablet. So it's a 4-foot by 3-foot tablet, and there are hundreds of these things coming out of Mexico. These aren't fake. They're not fake. They're real. And they're not like these tchotchke things, that some poor Mexican on the side of the road are selling for 10 pesos on the side of the fucking road. No, these were obviously very carefully carved. Okay, here's evidence that these aliens, the GG, were building the pyramids. Building the pyramids. More evidence of the GG building the pyramids. And with tools. You see this tool down here? That's some kind of alien tool where they were either cutting it, and I've heard from Lou Elizondo that they were using, at a certain temperature below 0, you're able to cut through stone like butter. It's the cold, ladies and gentlemen, the fucking cold, that you're able to cut through stone like butter at a certain degree, a certain negative degree, where you're able to cut through stone like butter. That's been out for years. Everybody wanted to pretend like I was some idiot. But there they are, the GG, right? The Nazca alien mummies, the Maria, and the little beings, the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki were the little beings who created humanity to mine gold for their spacecraft, which is a gigantic golden orb. Hey, there's me. Spacecraft, which is a gigantic golden orb.
50,000 years ago, the Anunnaki, in search of gold to shield their planet Nibiru's atmosphere, arrive on Earth. Their first settlement.
So they came to mine gold. But there's been a conflict between these two species over control of planets. The Draco reptilians and the Anunnaki for thousands, if not millions of years. This good and evil, the yin and the yang of the universe, which has been ruling over humanity in secret. A yin and a yang in secret, which has afforded them the luxury of ruling over humanity. So humanity was taken over by the Draco reptilian and the Orion group 6,000 years ago, when they took over from the Anunnaki and Sumerian. They were using human beings as a resource, a workforce, a labor force to mine gold for them, for their planet, which is a gigantic golden orb. And inside of the orb is their planet Nibiru, and it's very intelligent because it not only acts as a new atmosphere for their planet, but it also affords the Anunnaki to take their entire species with them wherever they go. Extremely intelligent, especially when this is why they make deals. This is why they make deals with the ruling extraterrestrials out there. Because they can't move the planet Earth or other planets to evade the domineering Alpha Draconian. So this is why they built their a golden sphere around their world, so they could evade being taken over. Unlike Earth, where the Draco showed up and they were like, wow, we're going to take over and there's nothing you can do about it. And why it's a temporal time war, and this is why they're going to show up again. And Jesus is, I'm pretty sure, Lucifer's son. And if that's right, well, because it's time travel, they have time travel. Jesus is arriving on the golden orb, which connects him to the Anunnaki. Okay? This is a painting from 200, 300 years ago of the end times. The final, the last judgment. I think that's what this painting's called. Yeah, the last judgment. With all these evil people, the storm, right? Where these evil people are taken to hell, and the good people of the world, the 1,044,000 people, are taken to heaven. But there's a lot of death involved with this. There's the sword and the Easter lily, which symbolizes renewal. You see, the Antichrist isn't evil. He's just the revealer of the truth, which brings about chaos and the return of Christ. It's not evil. It's just happenstance. Primarily because God, Luna, is warning that the satanic side, the serpent, the devil, has been poisoned the tree of life and has been eating fruit out of the tree of life. And its time's up. That's why he's like, oh my god, they've been eating children? Yes. Luna, by God's plan. It's God's plan to intervene. God's plan to intervene. This is why this is all happening now. The sword is a gift.
I suspect that it's
God who's coming during the...
consciousness that's coming,
It's a collective group, a collective consciousness. The Anunnaki all have the Christ consciousness, which is the collective consciousness. Unlike, and this is how St. John knew, because the Anunnaki helped St. John write Revelations. That's how St. John knew the 7,000-year-old star alignment 1,500 years ago. Because how did a man know a 7,000-year-old star alignment when he lived 1,500 years? He was shown by the Anunnaki, the cherubs, God's angels, the future. But they fucked with the future. They fucked with Revelations, the satanic side, because the Catholic Church is evil. But they also showed, they gifted humanity not only all of the tools, the compass, the square, all that stuff, but also gifted us electricity and knowledge and all kinds of other stuff, which has been hidden from us by the satanic side, who've been ruling this planet with in a spiritual prison, with all the poisons that have been preventing us from being still. Be still and know that I am God. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Love your chats with Mark. You're doing one hopefully soon. Yeah, Wildman. This is at my... these videos, all this stuff, it's all at my Twitter account, which is Twitter, Ryushin Malone 17, like the number Q, the letter Q, the number 17. Well, yeah, Arizona, yeah, Wildman was talking about how Zachariah Stitcher...
What do you remember about...
was lying to the people, and yeah, I see a lot of fucking bullshit coming out of him. There's been a lot of lies by this man, just like Eric Von Daniken, all of them. There's so many evil motherfuckers in the UFO field, and you have to ask yourself why. Well, we've been being lied to by this satanic group this whole time. Satanic group who've had all of the money this whole time, in control of Hollywood, to distract you with entertainment, to prevent you from reaching the awakened state of mind. Poisoning us in every single way, every single fucking way. Fluoride, Wi-Fi, the cell phone towers, TV, pornography, distracting us in every single way intentionally to keep us working, to keep us doing work to make them more money. But these videos are all at my website and theorionlines.com, but they're also at my X account, which I have a lot of views on some of these videos. I've got a whole bunch of views on a lot of these videos that I have here. 72,000 on one. I have 33 on this one. 333K on that one. I have another video that has 1.3 million a few weeks ago, and I have a lot of videos here that are seen by the people. It's unfortunate because just recently people figured out that aliens were real, and well, so they're not as interested in other videos that I have. But yeah, the truth isn't an easy pill to swallow. But definitely
They genetically engineer Homo sapiens by combining their DNA. Approximately 450,000 years ago, the Anunnaki, in search of gold to shield their planet Nibiru's atmosphere, arrive on Earth. Their first settlement is established in the Persian Gulf region. Initial phase. They begin their operations by mining gold in the southeastern Africa region. Due to labor difficulties, they genetically engineer Homo sapiens by combining their DNA with that of existing hominids to create a more suitable workforce.
Then they showed him a massive golden orb, and they said that it's on its way towards us and that it's returning.
Yeah, it's the Anunnaki. They're coming back. And it's going to be very difficult because we've been so badly brainwashed that and lied to about everything, like Project Bluebeam. Yeah, that's all bullshit lie. It's all bullshit lie to trick you, just like Jeremy Corbell and his bullshit. Oh, there's going to be an alien event, but it's all going to be a lie. Oh yeah, Jeremy. So why are these people lying to us? Why are they deceiving? Well, it's because they are part of this satanic lie. Part of the satanic Draco. Half reptilian, half human bloodline. That's why they follow the bloodline, because they're part reptilian. Like all these stories about them eating babies and then shifting into this reptilian form. Yeah, that's because they're part reptilian. From Satan and Eve having sex. So it wasn't just the temptation of the fruit of knowledge, but he also showed her how to have sex, and producing Cain, who is half reptilian, half human, an abomination to what God was trying to create, a pure human, which caused many problems. God kicked out Adam and Eve. Eve had twins, Cain and Abel. Cain was trying to please God, and God rejected Cain because he was half reptilian, not what God was interested in producing. God was interested in producing full human. And Cain rebelled. Cain killed and murdered and ate Abel. And then the Canaanites reproduced to the point of Noah's Ark. And God said to Noah, you have to build an ark. And Noah created the ark. God flooded the world, destroyed the Canaanites who were raping women, murdering people, having sex with children and animals, and all this evil shit that these half reptilian beings were doing. And she, God Luna, flooded the world. It's always been these back and forth things. But it came to this point where the truth was revealed to the public, creating this conflict. The truth is revealed. Their entire satanic system is now out in the open. Their reaction will be to kill as many as people as possible before they rise up. That's what the Bilderberg Group is, the World Economic Forum, the Council of Foreign Relations, the WHO, the World Health Organization. Why the deep state hates Trump? Because Trump is of the good side, trying to fight these evil, satanic rulers who've been ruling over us for the past 6,000 years. Yeah, it's Saturn who is Satan. Okay, the reason why Saturn holds the sickle is because of the comet that would show up. The comet, every 100 or 1,000 years, would show up and harvest human beings as a food source, as a drug source, adrenochrome, just like Jupiter ascending. Yeah, that's where they got the idea from, because it's true. That's what's been going on here. Saturn holds the sickle because the comet was also, in Latin, was called disaster. Disaster is, in English, means evil star. Why was it called evil star? Because they'd show up and harvest human beings. This is why they painted the red X on the door. To let them know that they were not to come in to harvest secretively. That's why it was the big secret kept from human beings, because they were the satanic side. So they put X's on the door, red X's, to prevent them from getting harvested by Lameshtutu, who was Quetzalcoatl or Moloch or the Orion group. Pretty fucked up shit, right? But the Antichrist is not Antichrist. It's only the role of the Antichrist is to reveal the truth to the people. But the Antichrist is not, Lucifer is not Satan. He is not anti-Christ. He's not anti-Christ. It very well may be that Lucifer is actually the father of Christ. Lots of fucking lies in this place. Lots of bullshit. Like Project Bluebeam, another fucking lie. that, oh, we're going to have an alien event, but it's all going to be a lie, when in reality, it's going to be the Anunnaki showing up, our creators showing up. I don't know if they're going to bring Christ or not, but I certainly hope so. I've heard stories with Project Bluebeam that it will be a fake, false alien invasion, and they're going to show up, and they're going to project Christ's mind into everybody's mind so they can hear what Christ is saying. But I think in reality it's going to be real. That Project Bluebeam was only a lie to put out there to trick the people, so that when they really come down here, everybody will be, oh, that's just Project Bluebeam. Oh, that's just a lie. It's all holograms. Just like everything else that they've been feeding us. It's all been a fucking bullshit lie to keep us under control. This whole Antichrist showing up, the beast, with the truth to free humanity, was to make people hate Lucifer. To hate him when he showed up revealing the truth. And everybody would be, oh, that's just a false light. Yeah, well, the truth is that the entire Catholic Church has been this under satanic control this whole time. It's at Lucifer on my website, theorionlines.com. Under Lucifer, the first video has all of the evidence.
The aliens or demons working with the right hand of Satan and this kind of nonsense. Now we're headed towards what? An interplanetary holy war?
Yeah, that's Dr. Draco, I call him, Dr. Greer. Why is he mentioning that? Why is he saying that? We're headed for a holy war? Yeah, that's because God and the devil, angels and demons, heaven and hell, are all extraterrestrials. That's the secret. That's what's been kept from us. We're in the middle of a temporal time war between God and the devil. Yes, God and the devil are real. They just so happen to be extraterrestrials. As much as it sounds fucking crazy, as much as absurd as it sounds, that's what's actually going on here. Temporal time war between good and evil. And people like Dr. Greer have been sent out to deceive. But people and the Catholic Church. Catholic Church has been lying to the people this whole time about God, about Christ, about Lucifer, about why they've been having you worship Christ's murder. It's not because he died for his sins. He was murdered because he told the truth.
And it is going to come out, but how it comes out, how it's spoken about, if you start dragging this into, the aliens or demons working with the right hand of Satan and this kind of nonsense, now we're headed towards what? An interplanetary holy war? Right.
Yeah, that's what they are. They're demons. They're aliens. But here's what happened. Thousands of years ago, normal people like you and me, we didn't have the language to and the understanding of what these fucking things were. Okay, so we gave them names like angels, demons, God, and the devil. We didn't have the language and the understanding of what these things were. So when we saw them, oh, it's magical, or that's a demon, or that's an angel. But in reality, what they really were advanced extraterrestrial beings. Now, that doesn't mean that God and the devil aren't real. No, they're real. What they really are aliens. okay? I know it's a very difficult thing to understand, but it's true. This is why the Catholic Church built their church in the shape of a fucking snake head. The eyes, the teeth, so the people could sit in the mouth of the snake before they're swallowed, because they've been eating us. But that's the Catholic Church. Symbolism will be their downfall. Money, power, influence. The bite that has no cure. Yeah. They have been taking all that money and giving it straight to Rothschild, who is the pinnacle of the Draco. Half reptilian, half human. So all of the money has been going right into the Satan worshippers' pocket out of the Catholic Church. Meanwhile, there's all this pedophilia in the Holy Catholic Church. All the pedophile symbols on the robes. What the fuck? Touching all those children, including my father in 1964. But thousands and thousands of priests. Why? They're all part of this satanic nightmare shit. Sacrificial tables in the Catholic Church. Why? Why are there sacrificial tables there? Well, that's because at nighttime they've been sacrificing people.
Cherry pick. Wasn't
Right.
the truth, the whole truth.
Hurry up. I'm scared.
That's Fiona Bartlett.
Those military police might be going through our car. You got it. Come on, Ray Martin. Welcome to my parish. This is the head church in the Sutherland Shire Diocese for satanic ritual. This is a marble altar, a step up from St. John Bosco. Marble floor, very easy cleanup of blood spillage. I attended multiple rituals here, satanic ritual abuse. I've seen multiple people murdered on this marble slab. So we're at Regina Coeli Catholic Church in Beverly Hills in the Sutherland Shire, a suburb south of Sydney. You'll note the eagle, which is a predominant symbol. Features, it's also representative of the phoenix, the whole order out of chaos theme, etc., dating back to Horus and from ancient Egypt. I well remember that window.
The Vatican is run.
But today, one looks around us to see U.S. presidents and congressmen and women groveling before the Pope. Lincoln's words would seem ironic. Consider this also. In April 2008, the President of the United States, George W. Bush...
See the red shoes? Oh, that's all baby skin.
When you get those red shoes, and it usually signifies a very significant kind of higher level ritual killing, and the shoes are made out of child skin. Usually you'll see they get significant rings with diamonds in them. The more children they kill, a lot of them like to have those diamond trophies that they wear around. They would just receive, the diamond or the ring after it's done. And you see later, those are offered for massive amounts of money once the Pope stops wearing them. Mostly you're going to find that people who are wearing those are part of the Jesuit and the Kabbalah esoterical levels of the Illuminati, but it would be comparable to, the Masonic branch. It would, you'd be above a level 33 degree Mason.
if they got a baby but they can't look after it or anything like that. So if you get a baby, they want a baby.
Who do they give the baby to? Do they sell the baby or just give them?
They don't just give them, they sell it because they can't really. They sometimes give, but they don't like just give it like borrow, like for like a rent. They give it away because sometimes families are poor. So like in Tanja, there are people who had baby children and they were really poor. They couldn't afford food for them. So if the families doesn't have money and they got a baby, they sometimes sell it. They eat it, do sex first.
How do they eat the baby? Alive? Is the baby alive?
No, they inject it to make it go to sleep. And then after, Papa tells us to hold the knife, and then he puts his big hand on. He pushes it into the neck, cuts it, and after, when it's upside down, so it's like he goes like that.
How do the babies become upside down?
So you get a string, hang it up, and it's upside down when it's asleep.
Well, hang the baby upside down after they inject it?
Yes. Miss Marden, the nurse, she
Marden? Who's Miss Marden?
Miss Marden is a nurse of our school. She does the injecting. She pretends to be kind to my mom and tries to like say be kind. And then after she injects. She's the nurse, so she pretends to be kind to mom. And so if I hurt myself, she pretends to be like really kind to us and like look after us and give us ice packs.
Is a member of this club?
Yes, she's a.
What do they all have? You say they all have a special something that they wear and stuff?
Yes, they wear this special kind of shoes. They make out
what shoes? What kind of shoes?
Baby skin shoes. Daniel, Felix, and Max.
All of Daniel, Felix, and Max.
They work at a shoe shop. Daniel and Felix, yes.
What shoe shop do they work at?
Daniel and Felix, they work in the next to the O2 Centre one in this tube station.
Where?
Just inside the tube station.
In the tube station where? What tube station, Daniel?
O2 Centre one.
O2 Centre where?
So in the corner.
Tube station.
I think it's the next waitress. I didn't.
Finchley Road Station.
Finchley Road Station.
The tube station?
Yes, yes. So when you come in, there's this shop
Okay,
there,
don't
a shoe shop.
Just tell me what they do, these fellows.
And those fellows, they take off the skin. I don't know how.
The skin of whom?
Of the baby. The baby.
And they make shoes?
Yes.
And who wears these shoes?
Papa, everyone wears the shoes.
Everyone in the cult.
So the reason why they skin babies and dye it red and make shoes out of them is to walk on the human being, walking on their enemy. We are their enemy. That's what they believe. It's insanity, but it's all here under Lucifer. Most Jews do not like to admit it, but our God is Lucifer, and we are his chosen people. Pretty interesting. But, scary times, because there's just been so much fucking bullshit in this whole thing. The whole thing. Like, everything's been inverted and fucked up, and everybody's been lied to, and nobody knows what's going on, and just such a shame. Such a terrible, terrible shame. They want to bring about this machine god, this artificial superintelligence, to provoke a global nuclear war. That's what they want. Evil fucking people with a lot of money. Now you have Pope going out there saying that AI is a threat to as like a Tower of Babel. So alright, so that's it for today. I'm pretty tired. It's been like 3 hours of talking. Well, I hope you found this interesting, to say the least. I don't know. everything's at my website, theorionlines.com. A free book. Lots of information, lots of evidence, aliens, UFOs, what's actually been going on here. They've been eating us, and we've been a slave source. The return of God. Uncle Sam's Snuff Factory. Them preparing China. The Satan worshippers preparing China to invade America by 2030. Lots of crazy shit going on here. My free book. And, let's see what else I got here. An overview. This is very interesting. It's somebody knew what was actually going on this planet with the Alpha Draconian, the Orion group. Cain, half reptilian, half human. And some other stuff for the aliens. Saturn's cube. Moloch. Time stuff. MK Ultra. The Muslim. Evil Muslims. COVID. The Matrix. I think it's the Jewish end times Kabbalah is the real prophecy. But anyway, there's my book for free, and I have a second book, but I'm thinking about writing a third book pretty soon, which is more, I wrote this one, Catastrophic Disclosure, about 2022. So this whole thing's like an onion. There's a lot of layers to this thing, and over the years certain things come to light and change the story a little bit. So there are some things that have changed since I've written this book, and but I although a lot of the information in there is good, but the first book that I wrote it was revised, and I just recently updated it. There are copies for sale. But anyway, there's a YouTube link and a Rumble link and my X account. If you'd like to leave a donation and support my work and my, it really helps me out. This is what I do for a living. I research and explain my work and what I've discovered to the people, and this is what I do. So if you can help me, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, I was sitting meditation, and these two translucent beings came to me and triggered me to do the research. So my father, my teacher, and me, and I was 16 years old in that picture. 1996, somewhere around there. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a really great Memorial Day. And there's a lot of information here to go through. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. There's just so much evidence. It's just so ridiculous how much evidence there actually is out there in the world. But I collected everything and made sure it was good and true. Because that's the mission, tell the truth. And it's all there. But thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a lovely day, rest of the day today. Okay, be well. Bye-bye.